Hello everyone, this is 3.2, logarithmic functions. So what is a logarithmic function? We can see here in red that we can define a logarithmic function with base b as log base, so y equals log base b of x. Well, what does all that mean? Well, what that means is that if we take as our input, our x value, this quantity x, really we're asking, when we take b as a base and raise it to some exponent, what exponent do I need? In this case, we can make that exponent y to get x as a result. In other words, the output of a logarithmic equation is an exponent. In 3.1, we talked about exponential functions. Logarithmic functions are inverses of exponential functions. If I want to identify the log base b of x, it's really asking b to what power. So that should be a question mark. Let me try that one more time. B to what power equals x? In plain English, b to what power equals x? So we can look at a few examples here and help us make sense of it. On this first example, we have log base 2 of 32. What that's asking me is what power do I need to raise 2 to what power equals 32. In this case, 2 to the 5th power is 32, so our answer there is 5. 3 to what power is 1? Well, we know that any number, raised to the 0 power equals 1, so that would be our answer on this second expression. And then on the third one, we have log base 4 of 2. Well, I know that 4 raised to a positive power would make my base larger and larger. If I raise it to a negative power, I would create a fraction. So what I need to do is I need to raise to a rational exponent, a fraction exponent, because 4 to the 1/2 power equals 2. In other words, the square root of 4 equals 2. Our answer here would be 1/2. We have a couple kind of unique logarithms, one called the common logarithm. We would call that the log base 10. So this is log base 10. As you can see here in our notes, if the base is not stated, it is understood as 10. So if you were to see, log of 10, this is the same as log base 10 of 10. We also use a different natural logarithm. This is one you'll see especially next year in calculus. The natural logarithm is log base e. This is a transcendental number. It's about 2.78. In other words, the natural log, we write that as ln of e, would be 1. Why is that the case? Because the natural log asked us e to what power equals e. Well, e to the first power would equal e. Since all these properties are so closely related to exponents, these rules should seem familiar to us. You can see on your page here on my screen, we have these properties of logarithms. Well, regardless of the base, if I have log base a of 1, the solution must be 0 since anything to the 0 power is 1. If I have log base a of a, I know the result of that must be 1 because anything to the first power is itself. I have two logarithm inverse properties, and I just want to slow down and make sure we talk through these. We have log base a of a to the x equals x. So let me just take a quick sidebar here. That, again, asks us the question, a to what power equals the argument here, a to the x. I think it's very clear to see that these two values must be the same. In other words, our solution is x. The other one's a little bit trickier. It's a to the log base a of x. And what this is telling us is that there's, if we focus on this exponent, it's some number. It's a number that when raised when a is raised to an exponent, to this exponent, x is the result. Let me restate that. This exponent, just what I have there in red, that in box, it's a number. It's a number that when I raise a to that power, the result is x. Well, whatever that number is, I'm going to take a and raise it to that power, whatever it might be. So the result of this will simply be x. And then finally here, if I have two logs, log base a of x and log base a of y, if those two logarithms are equal, then it must follow that x and y are the same. So let's look at a few examples here. There's 6 here in our notes. Here on the first one, we have log base 6 of 6 to the x. This is our inverse property. This will simply be x. In other words, 6 to what power equals 6 to the x? Well, obviously, that unknown power must be x. Our next one here, we have log base root 7 of 7. What power do I have to raise root 7 to get root 7 as a result? Well, that would be the first power. Here on the third one, I have 6 raised to some number. This number is the result of raising 6 to a power and getting 20 as a result. Well, I'm raising 6 to that power. 20 must be my result. Next, we have the natural log of 1 over e. We can also think of this as the natural log of e to the negative 1, which we can see here. We know that the natural log is really log based e, so our answer here will simply be negative 1. Our next example, we have the natural log of e times 2. The natural log of e is 1. 2 times 1 is 2. And again, I have another one of these inverse properties, right? I have an e raised to a log-based e. Effectively, these two parts cancel each other out, and the remaining number would be our answer. We can also solve some equations involving logarithms, and I find this to be a few different ways we can do so. One reliable way is simplifying using properties. So what I see here on the left-hand side of my equation is that I have log base 2 of 2 to the negative 1. Well, this is just going to be negative 1, right? This is an inverse setup, so negative 1 equals negative x squared. I can divide both sides by negative 1, so 1 equals x squared. X can equal positive or negative 1. Over on the right, we have another equation. We have a common base. We can see we have a log base 4 on both sides of our equation. Because these are equal, the stuff being worked upon in our logarithmic equation, those two values in green must be the same. X squared minus 6 is equal to 10. I can add 6 to both sides and solve for x. I can see here x could equal positive or negative 4. We can also graph these logarithms. We can move on to our next part of our notes here. In my opinion, the easiest way of graphing logarithm functions is to graph an exponential and just flip x and y. I can see that points that are on my original function, if I use my original function as 2 to the x, let's zoom in a little bit and identify these points. We have this point at 0, 1. We have a point at 1, 2. We have a point at 2, 4. And we have a point of 3, 8. Well, if I go look at the inverse, log base 2 of x, I'm just going to highlight this one in blue, the coordinates are going to be the opposite, right? Instead of having 3, 8, I'm going to have 8, 3. Instead of having 2, 4, I now have 4, 2. I have 2, 1. I have 1, 0, and so forth. Right, so if I can graph an exponential, all I need to do to graph the related logarithm problem is switch the x and y coordinates. We can really lean heavily on what we know about inverses. So the domain of the log base b of x, well, I can't get a result of a negative number if I start, I can't get a negative number by raising a number to some exponent. In other words, our domain is defined as x should be greater than 0, or in interval notation, 0 to infinity. It will have an x-intercept at the point 1, 0, and there will be a vertical asymptote at x equals 0. The range of this function will be infinite, in other words, negative infinity to infinity, and there will not be a y-intercept because there is that vertical asymptote on the y-axis. You can see as we work our way through the notes, there's some transformed logarithmic functions here. We can see that, for example, on the left, our logarithm has been shifted right 1 unit, right? This x minus 1 here tells us that whatever we're doing, we're going to take our whole graph and shift it to the right. Right, again, we can tell that that minus 1 is operating on the x, it's inside those parentheses. Over on the right, we have a 2 outside the parentheses, so therefore we're going to be moving up 2 units. Any points we can simply add to our y coordinate. What we need to keep in mind as we work through any of these problems is that the argument we take, or whatever we're taking the log of, right, this quantity in here must be greater than 0. So if they ask us to find the domain of, say, h of x here, where we have the natural log of x minus 3 quantity squared, I need to, for x minus 3 quantity squared to be greater than 0. Well, I know I can deal with this type of inequality pretty easily. I know that I have one critical value on my number line, and that occurs at 3. And we can test some values to the left and right. Let's see, we can test, let's say x equals 0, and let's test x equals 10. Well, if I were to plug those values in, 0 in for x, I'd get negative 3 squared. That is positive. So this area here would be effective. And if I were to plug in 10, I'd get 10 minus 3 squared. That's also positive. This area would be effective. The only issue I'd have with my domain is exactly at 3. So for my domain here, it's going to be negative infinity to 3 in union with 3 to infinity. So that wraps up our first set of notes on logarithms. Our next chapter will include a little bit more involving their properties.